Imagine going to sleep after an ordinary day, only to wake up in a city where the air itself had become a silent killer.
An official said one death was being recorded every minute from the poison gas leak in the city of Bhopal.
People weren't running from fire. They were running from something they couldn't even see.
Like somebody poured chilies in our eyes and as if somebody choked our throats.
Parents desperately searched for their children through clouds of poison. Entire families collapsed in the streets before they even understood what was happening.
It happened 40 years ago, but it is still considered to be the world's worst ever industrial accident.
There were no explosions, no warning sirens, just an invisible cloud that transformed one peaceful night into one of the deadliest industrial disasters in human history. But the real story was even more terrifying. Because this wasn't simply a tragic accident, it was the devastating result of years of hidden warnings, ignored dangers, and reckless decisions that slowly pushed an entire city toward catastrophe. At the center of the story stood a pesticide factory in Bhopal, India. To many, it symbolized hope, jobs, and a brighter future. But hidden behind its walls was one of the world's most dangerous chemicals, methyl isocyanate, better known as MIC. Highly toxic and frighteningly unstable, even a small leak had the power to kill. Yet thousands of families slept peacefully just a short distance away, completely unaware that unimaginable danger was waiting beside them. As the years passed, silent warning signs began to appear. Financial pressure increased, budgets were slashed, maintenance was delayed. Experienced workers disappeared, replaced by smaller crews, struggling to manage increasingly dangerous systems. One by one, the factory's critical safety barriers began to fail. Some systems no longer worked properly. Others remained switched off to save money. Everything looked normal from the outside. But deep inside the factory, a catastrophe was quietly taking shape. The terrifying truth is that disasters rarely begin with one dramatic mistake. They begin with dozens of small compromises that seem harmless until they suddenly become unstoppable. Then everything changed. Late on the night of the 2nd of December, 1984, water somehow entered a storage tank filled with methyl isocyanate. Inside the tank, a violent chemical reaction erupted almost instantly. Temperatures skyrocketed, pressure surged beyond safe limits. Workers realized something was terribly wrong, but every passing second pushed the plant closer to disaster. And this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Critical safety systems that should have stopped the reaction either failed or were unable to contain it. Within moments, a massive cloud of deadly gas exploded into the night sky. The wind carried it directly toward the sleeping city. No one knew it was coming. No one had time to prepare. Within minutes, people woke up choking for air. Their eyes burned with unbearable pain. Every breath felt like inhaling fire. Mothers clutched their children and ran into the darkness with nowhere safe to go. Streets filled with panic. Cars became trapped. Hospitals were overwhelmed almost immediately as doctors fought desperately to save lives without even knowing exactly what poison they were facing. But that wasn't the worst part. Many victims never reached the hospital. By sunrise, thousands were already dead. Tens of thousands more were left with lifelong injuries, including destroyed lungs, blindness, neurological damage, and chronic illness. Survivors carried physical pain for decades, while many families would continue suffering across generations. What investigators uncovered next was even more disturbing. Evidence suggested this catastrophe wasn't caused by one single failure. It was the heartbreaking result of warning after warning being ignored. Cost-cutting weakened critical safety measures. Maintenance was neglected. Dangerous risks were accepted. And when the final emergency arrived, the systems designed to protect human lives simply couldn't do their job. The disaster sent shockwaves around the world. Governments rushed to strengthen industrial safety laws. Engineers completely redesigned emergency planning. Chemical companies were forced to rethink how hazardous materials were stored and monitored. But for the people of Bhopal, those changes came far too late. Today, the poisonous cloud has disappeared, but its shadow still lingers. Not only across Bhopal, but across every factory handling dangerous chemicals. Because the Bhopal Gas Disaster revealed a haunting truth the world can never afford to forget. The deadliest disasters don't always begin with an explosion. Sometimes, they begin with warnings that people choose to ignore.